2010 Explorer rear wiper motor. I took it out of the truck. I'll show you how to take it out and everything when I start putting it back together. You'll get it. It's just the reverse of installation. This shaft here is seized inside there, is why my wiper isn't working. Turned it on, heard a clicking sound, the motor got pretty hot, so I'm assuming the motor's probably still working, I would imagine. Smack this out with a hammer. So I'm gonna attempt to do that because it's not coming out any other way. I want to attempt to find some way to smack it out without damaging any of these plastic gears, so I think I'm gonna have to prop it up on something and then give her a couple of good whacks and see if she comes out. Alright, got the shaft out. What I had to do, shaft sticks out of that hole, I put the nut back on the top and I smacked it with the hammer until it was about flush with the top of that lip. What I did was on the opposite end there, this is what the gear mechanism looks like. I just put my vice grips on that and just started to turn it back and forth while pulling it out, and slowly but surely it came out. So I'm taking a scuff pad and using some WD and cleaning all the gunk off this shaft, and it's just going to remove all the debris so it's not seized inside the shaft anymore. I'm going to try to do the same with the inside of the sleeve that it goes in. Alright, greased up this shaft with some full synthetic grease. Make sure it's full synthetic for these things. This part really doesn't matter, but everything underneath, like, you know, in the housing, I'm going to grease that up too. And it's all plastic parts, and full synthetic doesn't eat away at rubber and or plastic, so don't use the regular stuff. Alright, arms back in there. Clipped it back into the plastic gear there that runs off the motor. Spins freely until, of course, it's all the way in there, because the motor gears hold this plastic gear in place, so you're not going to be able to really spin it freely in there without the motor going. Alright, first things first, put the gasket back on there. You'll notice it's got two little metal nipples to hold the gasket in place while I put the cover back on, and that's held in with a whole bunch of these little torque screws. Eight of them in total. So I'll put those back on and I'll be right back. The same nipples that hold the gasket on also hold the cover in place, so it makes it pretty easy. Alright, all of them are back in place, T20 torque bit, and yeah, 8 screws, 8 bolts or whatever. Put the back plate back on, that holds everything in place.
Err on the side of caution.
Alright, it goes into the plastic housing.
Did you stay indoors?
One 5mm screw,
I like to get out
2 5mm screws, torque them down, not too tight as plastic. Alright, I'm going to put the assembly and I'm going to slide it over these 2 studs that are sticking out of the window. It's going to go this and like that and up with 2 10mm bolts, or nuts. Alright, and that's what it's going to look like when it's up there. Now I'm going to tighten them down. Alright, this is the switch that mounts to this thing right here. I'll put that on. Alright, that's in there. And I'm going to plug in these 2 clips. Alright, clips are in. And pop your cover back on. Alright, now time to deal with the outside. This is what came off first, washer. Throw that on there. And then on top of that is a nut. It is 7/8. Thread that on. Alright, I tightened that up. Now comes this plastic cover here. Alright, that just pushes on. This is not the original nut. When I took it apart, it actually didn't even have a nut on there. So yeah, fish one out of the old bucket, and it's a 12 mil. I'm not sure if that's the original one, but you get the point. You can take it off. And last but not least, the end cap. That just goes in here. Push it on, and she's done. Now we got to see if it actually works. Maybe I should have tested it before I put it all back together, but a little optimistic, I guess. And there you go. I did put it on first. What did happen is I guess the motor was stuck midpoint when it seized, so it actually dragged the wiper way down here at the finishing point, so I had to take the wiper back off and reinstall it after I found out the motion of the wiper arm itself, or where the motor position of the motor was, I mean. But nonetheless, it's working. So you got a rear window wiper on a 2010 Explorer. I think it applies to 02 or I don't know, 03 to 10 or something. 10 was the last year anyway. That's how to get her going again. Don't just go out and buy a new motor. You can fix it and save yourself $300.